Patreon member shout out. All I ever wanted was to see you smiling, and all I ever wanted was to make you mine. Oh baby, I love you. Oh baby, why don't you see that all I ever wanted was you and me? All I ever wanted was to see you smiling. All I ever wanted. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Veve Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. I'm probably going to be going live later tonight just because there is a ton of things to go over. But there is one thing that I wanted to go over right now, and I think it should be a video because the streams maybe like 1,000 people watch, but this I feel like is very, very important. And that is buying at the top. And why most of the times it's not good, but sometimes it is. You know, when something rises, like let's say the Eddie Riso Batman that just flipped Walt and is now like $14,000, it might pull back a little bit. Now it might not. It might also. But how does this happen? Well, a few weeks ago it was at like 5.5, 6K, and I was like, you know what? I think this is really undervalued. I'm going to sell like half my sets and get another one. And I did. But the price raised from like 5,500 all the way to 7,200. And it's like, oh man, I have to spend an additional almost $2,000 to get this. And I thought, like, okay, I will buy it at the top because regardless of what happens short term, I think that will go up to a much higher point at some point in the future. And I was right. It has doubled since then. And literally bought that on like the 28th of December, so like a week ago, which is bananas. But this is not the first time I have done this, and I'll explain why sometimes it can be good. If you see something that is, let's say it's a certain mint number of like a 69 or 420 or sub 100, and you say like, hey, one of these hasn't sold in a while. There hasn't been one that was listed for a while, and the last one sold for, let's say, $2,000. And this one is like $4,000. Well, if the last one sold for $2,000, no way am I going to buy this, for double of that was. At that point, you have to ask yourself, well, where's the cheaper option? If you don't get it, how many other people that are richer than you, or just don't give a fudge about like what happens short term, that is going to buy it for the heck of it? Will they buy it? And you could say, well, nobody in their right mind will buy this because it's double what the last price was. But there are some people that might not be in their right mind that is like, yeah, I still think this is undervalued, and they have the capital and they go and they do it. So I've done this before in Pokemon, where I'll use an example of Blaine's Charizard First Edition PSA 10. I was buying that for about $600 all day. Literally, I was buying that for like most of 2018. 2019 comes along, and I swept the floor. There hadn't been one available for a while, and then suddenly it comes out for like $800, and I was like, I still think this is very undervalued, and I get it. It's not 2x, but it was a good, like 33% higher, and I was like, I bought it, and then another one came out for about $1,300, late 2019. And I was like, I still think this is undervalued. And my friend Joe, a good friend of mine, says, listen, you have enough of them. You have like 5 of them. I don't think buying a 6th one for double the price you got of the first one is really a smart idea. I said, no, there are only a certain amount of these. I have 2% of them. This is, it's not easy to grade. And it's not only the first one that was made in, the second one that was made in the set. It's the most popular in the set, and it's a very good set. And so I bought it. And then what happened? Well, that next year they started selling for like $7,000 or $8,000. And had I not bought that one at $1,300, had I not bought the one at $800, the person would not have listed at $1,300. Had I not bought that at $1,300, people would not have started buying for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. That Trophy Kangaskhan that I bought, the most expensive one that had been purchased was like $30,000 up until the point that I bought it. After I bought it for $80,000, guess what? We had 2 sales for $150,000. You had a declined offer for $220,000, and then I sold it for a little less than $300,000. So what I'm saying is that it is okay to buy the top as long as you do not care what happens short term. Anything could happen short term. someone could buy another Eddie Riso right now at 14,000, and it could go right back down to 10. There's gonna be a bunch of people like, you know what? I bought this last week at like, 6K, 7K, even 5K, whatever. I'm fine with more than doubling my money and put it into something else. I would also like to take a special shout out to the Sasquatch Music Festival 2009. Guy starts a dance party. And what happens in this video is pretty crazy. You see this one guy alone, he's just dancing, and he's the first one to do that. He's the first one to ever go and dance, and everyone thinks he's crazy, everyone thinks he's nutty. And then another guy comes. And then what happens after that? After that, you have a third guy that comes in. And then after the third guy comes in, you have the leader, you have the followers. What I'm saying is that it's okay to be the first one to do something. Like the first person to buy, one of those gold apes, the extra larges for, let's say $5,000 or $1,000. They buy it, and it's like, hey, this is a record price point. Well, now the price is close to $8,000. And, people saying like, hey, I'm going to wait for this to dip. Maybe it doesn't dip. Maybe, if you're the first person to buy it at that 10K price, those Risos, then maybe it goes to 15, that, like it is right now. And then what happens? Then you have more people come in, and more, and more. And then it starts to be, momentum comes, and at a party, it is very different than what we have here. At a party, it's easy to do. Unlimited amount of people and space, but there's only a very limited amount of people or amount of mints for the Riso. And I'm not trying to pump this is just the most recent example. But I've said it before in streams, maybe I haven't in video, and I'll say it again. I've seen it in Pokemon, where people that do not give a hoot about Pokemon, people that don't know what a Chorizard is, or a Dragonite, they don't know or care what Mewtwo is. And I mispronounce Charizard because that's what they pronounce it as. They come in from Magic. They come in from sports. They come in from World War II memorabilia stuff. They might even come in from the art world. And all they want is the top of the top. They'll take a Charizard. They'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on that first set. They'll spend hundreds of thousands or even millions on trophy cards. And why? Because they know it's very limited. They know it's very nostalgic, and people want it. Why is that same thing going to happen here in the Veve app? It's going to happen here in the Veve app because that first set, this Veve app will be probably one of the, I predict it will gross more than $2 billion this year in 2022. And I think we will have upwards of 20 million users. And call me crazy, call me, loco, say like you're pumping, FOMO moon boy, whatever you want. But let the record show that this will most likely happen. And if not, it will get extremely close. And what happens when that happens? Okay, you have 2 million, or let's say you have 2,000 millionaires in the app. They cannot all complete that first set. It is impossible for those millionaires to complete that because you have 1,750 Risos. And I know 3 people, and combined with them, they own more than 50 of the Risos. I know actually one person that bought a couple of dozen when it was still on the market. I don't know how many of those he still has left, but it is, take away minimum 50, if not 60 of those Risos. So there's less than 1,700 that millionaires can get, and there's going to be a lot more. There's already dozens, if not hundreds, of millionaires in this. I don't know if I should include myself in there because Omi's gone down, so I'm technically not a millionaire anymore. I'm pretty close though. These NFTs have gone really, really high. Anyway, I'm just letting you know that it doesn't matter how many of these are there. If there is more supply than there is demand, they can't just make more demand. It's not like modern Pokemon where they can just print more product. They cannot make any more of these. It doesn't matter what they release. It doesn't matter what they release. If Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, whatever. The first set on Veve will never change. That is always going to be the same. That cannot change. That will be the top performing Batman, the Eddie Riso, the Joe, and the Becky Cloonan. So again, I only have one full set and then a Riso. I don't have. It's not like I You know, in hindsight, I probably should have got a couple of these outside of the 12 secret rare alligator Lokis I bought. But again, I think that time will come as well. Anyway, I'm just letting you know it's okay to buy the top. Probably should have said at the beginning, it's okay to buy the top, as long as you don't care what happens short term. Everyone, please check out Star Helix, Wendy Stibalis, Kyle Willson, and Golden Assets on YouTube, and at Not Star Helix, at HeyDavidDon, and at EQ_crypto on the Twitter. And everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow. Wow.